I'm Leslie Weidenbender. Welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm here with Senate President Pro Tem David Long, who is a Republican from Fort Wayne. Senator, thank you for joining us.
Good to be here, Leslie.
So tell us about how the session's going so far and what it's like to work with a new governor, Mike Pence.
Session's going fine, a little quieter than the last 2 years, which is a blessing, I think, in itself. But everything's fine with Governor Pence. It's exciting to have a change. We had a great 8 years with Mitch Daniels. We're starting out fresh and new with Mike Pence. Different approach, different guy, but with a lot of aspirations and hopes for the state. So I think so far so good.
So there seems to be much more of a bipartisan tone this year. What do you attribute that to?
Maybe the extra effort to show that the fact that we have a supermajority in both the Senate and the House does not mean we're going to trample the Democrats. Maybe because we have new leadership in both the House and Senate Democrat caucuses as well. I think Representative Pilath has done a really good job of working with Speaker Bosma to try to tone down the rhetoric and focus on how we can work together for things for the people of Indiana. Senator Land, the minority leader in the Senate, I have kind of grown up together in the Senate. We've known each other for many years, worked on a lot of legislation together, we're comfortable with each other. So I think that's part of it as well, and I think it's healthy, I do.
So one of the main things that you're pushing this year is actually a constitutional convention. Can you talk about what that would mean and why you wanted to do it?
Well, a lot of it is just due to years of frustration, a little bit, with the federal government meddling in states' issues, which under the Constitution you would think they wouldn't have the right to do, but because of the Commerce Clause and federal taxing authority, now particularly under the Obamacare decision, it's almost like the federal government can do anything they want and states' rights are almost eviscerated. And so this was really the tool that James Madison believed the states had at their disposal, the best tool they had in order to counter the overreach of the federal government. He anticipated that it would happen and believed that this is where the states could counter that by limiting the federal intervention. It's never been done before, mainly because people have felt it would be a runaway convention, that you couldn't control it. We put in legislation we think that would control that very specifically. How you pick your delegate and how you control that delegate. To such an extent, we feel very comfortable they're fenced in and could not participate in a runaway convention. We also hope that this legislation will be the model for the rest of the country. So if this does happen, if 34 states do approve resolutions and a convention does occur, that it will be in such a way that every state has said, this is the way the delegate has to act, and if they don't, they'll be pulled. And if the other delegates don't follow, then we'll pull out of the convention as well. And it says that in the legislation. If every other state follows that, or most of them that call for the convention, I think we'll be okay.
Have you talked to other state leaders in other states about doing something similar?
I have, and I think there's great interest in it. But they'll wait and see if the first state gets it out or not. It is now in the House, and I anticipate we'll get a hearing, and it's Speaker Bosma is the sponsor. So hopefully we'll be able to see success there. Either way, it's a statement that we need to do something, with the federal government's complete overreach, with their spending and everything else. And the tools are there in the Constitution, intended by our founding fathers to be utilized. We're trying to do that.
Senator Long, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate the opportunity.
I'm Leslie Weidenbender with the StateHouseFile.com and Comcast Newsmakers. Please join us again.